Listen, I get a lot of texts asking how I'm doing, how camp is going, so I figured I could just put it up in one post. So I'm in the mountains. This dude's about to beat the brakes off Canelo and be the greatest boxer of all time, and I get to play a part in it. All is well, truly well. We good. I'm good. I'm real good.
Amir Khan's bold take on the upcoming showdown between Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez is sending shockwaves through the boxing world.
It's a great fight that we're going to see because we've not really seen a fight where it's like it is a proper 50-50 fight. Why people are saying it's a 50-50 fight? Because Canelo has all the advantages and Crawford has never been beaten. So that's why. And Crawford looks unbeatable. So it's gonna be a good fight.
The former champion, who has faced both fighters in the ring, recently shared an insider's perspective, tipping the scales in favor of Crawford ahead of their highly anticipated clash on September 13th. But as the countdown to this super fight intensifies, numerous other figures in boxing are chiming in with their predictions, offering a range of insights that only add to the excitement.
I think I'm the only guy that's been in with both fighters. So yeah, I'm thinking of maybe going there. I've been asked to go there and obviously give my input on the fight before they go in the ring. And obviously I know both fighters. Canelo's a friend now after our fight we had, and also Crawford had shared training camp with him as well. It's a good fight. Well, I'm not gonna say too much.
Okay.
I'm gonna save it till on the day of the fight.
Okay.
But look, it's gonna be a mega fight. Honestly, it's hard to pick the winner.
Yeah.
But like I said, it's a close one.
The much talked about match will take place at the Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, where Crawford will make his debut at 168 pounds, aiming to take on the undisputed super middleweight champion Canelo Alvarez. It's a contest of titans, with Crawford aiming to solidify his legacy as one of the best in the sport. The 37-year-old has reigned supreme at 147 pounds, but this move up in weight promises to be a massive test. Canelo, on the other hand, has been a fixture at super middleweight for several years, and despite his age, the Mexican superstar is looking to continue his reign and prove his dominance.
So this Canelo Crawford fight, I'm promoting this fight with Shake Turkey. What I'm doing in 26 is completely different than this.
How excited are you for the event that's going to go on at Allegiant?
How excited am I for what?
For the Canelo fight that is going to go on.
I mean, you know, same night we got Canelo Crawford, Noche, and yeah, it's exciting, but it's a lot of work.
Yeah, you like to take on challenges like that.
I do. See how this works out.
For Amir Khan, who faced both fighters and suffered losses to them, the fight represents a fascinating tactical challenge. He recently revealed that Crawford's team has been telling him about the fighter's progress in the gym, mentioning that Crawford has been gaining muscle well and holding the weight without any apparent issues. Khan, always quick to analyze, feels that Crawford's skill set, coupled with his physical improvements, will give him the edge over Canelo, a fighter who is known for his devastating power, but who Khan believes can be hit more easily.
When, I know you said you don't want to say too much, but when people talk about Crawford boxing on the outside and, you know, using this movement, almost making it boring in a sense, do you think he can do that with the added weight that gets put on and him boxing in that certain style that we haven't really seen him box like before? In terms of boxing on the outside and almost sort of that stick and moving type.
You're talking about Crawford, yeah?
Crawford, yeah.
Look, Crawford's gonna probably do the same thing that he knows best, which is box, be smart, slow movements, small steps. It's only small steps he's taking. So I think I mean, look, and it's always worked for him. Every fight he's been in, I mean, we thought that the fight with Spence was gonna be hard, and he made it look so easy. Now, we've never really seen him in a hard fight where we've seen him in trouble. So maybe this could be the fight that puts him in that trouble to see what he's going to be like when he's under pressure. Yeah. You know what I mean? We've never seen either fighter under pressure, like a lot of pressure. I mean, you can't say...
Maybe Golovkin for Canelo, I guess you could say.
Exactly, yeah, Golovkin, yeah. But other than that, I don't class the Mayweather fight a hard fight, because Mayweather just a runner, wasn't he?
Yeah. But, I guess Bivol had the size.
Bivol had the size advantage, but this one, I think Canelo has the size advantage. But then again, I've always said Crawford puts on the weight well. If you look at size of him, you see his picture when he was like 185.
Yeah.
He looked huge, bro. He looked jacked up and he looked strong at the weight as well. I remember when I used to spar with him, and I think, wow, he's heavy and he's heavy-handed as well.
People don't give as well,
Yeah, you know, people don't give him the credit for his power. Crawford bangs hard, man. I mean, and also has that muscle strength. I saw him in the gym when I was training with them. wrestling heavyweights and taking them down wrestling. So I don't know if you know this, but Crawford is, I think he was like one of the top national wrestlers.
But Khan is not the only one offering his take on the battle. Hollywood legend Denzel Washington has also weighed in on the matter, bringing a touch of star power to the mix. The actor, who has long been a boxing fan, acknowledged both fighters' greatness while avoiding making a definitive prediction. Washington noted that Canelo's mental strength is a major factor in his success, as he's continuously overcome adversity in the ring. He also praised Crawford for his skills, calling him one of the best fighters he's seen. While Washington didn't pick a winner, his comments reflected the sentiment many share about this fight. It's a true toss-up.
You talked about how you could throw your hands. I know you're a big boxing fan. Crawford, Canelo coming up. Who you guys got? Don't take the easy road out on me. Give me a prediction.
Listen. In our gym, Crawford sits right there, and Canelo sits right here. That's why you play the game. We're gonna find out. But I'll say this, and I love Crawford. Canelo's a bigger man. He ain't never been hit by a man like this. But Crawford's a great, great fighter. One of the greatest I've ever seen. I love Crawford. I try to be like him. I love Canelo. I can't call it. I won't call it.
When is the fight?
13th.
September 13th.
Who you like?
Okay. I'm going with Canelo, man.
He's just
Canelo's
because
tight.
he's a bigger dude. I don't know, but Crawford's a great fight. We're gonna find out. I'm glad Crawford finally has a fight.
Antonio Tarver, a former world champion and a man who knows a thing or two about overcoming the odds in the ring, has also shared his thoughts. Tarver sees Crawford as a fighter who is still seeking respect in the boxing world, despite his undeniable accomplishments. The former light heavyweight champion likened Crawford's career trajectory to his own, suggesting that the Nebraska native is always looking to prove himself. Tarver, who has watched Crawford closely over the years, is convinced that he will win the fight, though he acknowledges that Canelo on his best night could be a real threat. He doesn't see Crawford stopping Canelo, but he does think the American will win on points.
What's your opinion on Canelo Crawford? How do you think that one plays out?
I love Crawford, bro.
Yeah.
You know, he reminds me of me. When I look at everything he's gone through, everything he had to overcome, you know, being the pound for pound without getting recognized as the pound for pound, and he's still fighting for respect. You feel me, bro? I see a lot of me and Crawford when you look at his energy, the way he speak on boxing. He processed the game a lot different than a lot of these guys. And I think it's between his ears. He's a smart fighter.
Did he win the fight?
I like him to win a decision. I like him to win a decision only because I believe Canelo is facing a guy that he hasn't faced, a guy this tough since he had to get back to, I believe, what's the guy name that Plant. I think if Canelo come in like he did against Plant and have that type of energy, that type of footwork, and that type of resilience, I think that's going to give Crawford fits. But if he come in like he did his last 3 fights, that ain't gonna be enough.
As the fight approaches, other fighters and boxing insiders are chiming in with their predictions. Hamza Shiraz anticipates a highly competitive fight for the first half, with Canelo eventually taking control in the later rounds. Shiraz, who has been mentioned as a potential future opponent for Canelo, expects the Mexican to dominate once the early rounds are over. His view is in line with what many analysts expect, the slow burn of a fight where both fighters will feel each other out before one seizes control. Israel Madrimov, a fighter who has faced Crawford and knows what it's like to be in the ring with an elite boxer, shared his opinion on the fight as well. Madrimov, who went the distance with Crawford in a closely contested fight, sees the matchup as a 50-50 proposition if the fight goes to 12 rounds. He believes that Crawford could emerge victorious if he's able to maintain his strength and not be overwhelmed by the weight gain, but he also warned that if Crawford struggles with the added weight, Canelo could stop him earlier in the fight.
Perspective, having fought Terrence, him now fighting Canelo, moving up 2 more weight classes to fight a lot bigger guy.
Сейчас всем интересно вот это бой, потому что они занимают паунд-то-паунды. У Крофорда есть высокий IQ, и обоих стойках он может боксировать, он можно давить, и бегать, и даже ближний бой тоже может. Поэтому мне тоже интересно, если он не набирает лишний вес, может тоже выиграть это. Есть шанс.
One of the more interesting takes came from veteran trainer Abel Sanchez, who has prepared fighters for bouts against Canelo in the past. Sanchez, who worked with Gennady Golovkin for several years, raised concerns about Crawford's quick rise to 168 pounds. He pointed out that Canelo took years to build up his strength and bulk at super middleweight, while Crawford has only had about 14 months to do so. Sanchez suggested that this rush transition could lead to Crawford being slower and less effective at the higher weight, which might give Canelo an advantage in the later rounds.
He does very well, and I think he wears Crawford out and wins a going away decision. Crawford is an all-time great, obviously, but there's weight divisions, you know.
Adding to the mix, Andy Lee has given his take on the fight. Lee believes that the contest has all the makings of a classic, with both fighters possessing world-class skills. He acknowledged that Canelo has the size advantage, but he also pointed out that Crawford has filled out well and looks strong. Lee expects the fight to be highly competitive, with both boxers showcasing their technical prowess. He also suggested that despite recent criticisms of Canelo, the Mexican's competitive spirit will ensure that he brings his A game when he faces Crawford.
On the same night as that, over in Las Vegas, Canelo Alvarez takes on Terence Crawford. What are your thoughts on that sort of super fight, I guess you could say?
Yeah, what a fight. Very hard to pick a winner, isn't it? Very hard to pick a winner because, like every good fight, you know, no one really knows the skill and competitiveness and ring craft of Crawford, or, you know, you can say the same things about Canelo, but just he has that size. And but I see Crawford in New York when Hamza fought Berlanga, and he doesn't look too small anymore. He's filled out a lot. He looks quite big. It's a great fight. I think they're equally matched in skill, and it's going to be one of the best fights. It's going to, like, when you see how skillful both fighters are, the tricks they have, and how they fight. It should be one of the best fights of the last, I don't know how many years. You know, it should be up there with the best fights we can remember.
Yeah.
Carl Froch recently shared his perspective on the upcoming showdown between Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez, and his opinion might surprise some. The former world champion and skilled analyst pointed to Crawford's undeniable talent, but his views lean heavily toward Canelo's favor. Froch, who has sparred with top-tier welterweights such as Kell Brook, is keenly aware of the challenges smaller fighters face when stepping up to higher weight classes. His experience with Canelo, who possesses exceptional strength and ring craft at super middleweight, shapes his opinion.
I think it's a great fight. It's really interesting, intriguing, because Crawford's so good, so talented, unbeaten, the boxer tricks. I thought the Errol Spence fight would have been close and he absolutely demolished him. But I just think he's out of his weight division. Well, he is out of his weight division. 2 or 3 weight divisions is coming up.
Yeah.
And I just don't see how a welterweight can step up to super middleweight, especially a super middleweight who's been up at light heavyweight. I don't see how he can do that and perform for longer than 4, 5, maybe 6 rounds.
Really? Yeah,
I just think the weight will get to him. I used to spar welterweights.
Okay.
And they're good for a round or 2 because they're quicker than you. When they're skillful and fast, they've got you on the end of the jab, they're catching you with shots. But the minute you get just close that distance a little bit, start to lean on them, start to wrap them around the body and bring it back upstairs, it's almost like the fight's over. It's like you can just bully somebody. There's weight divisions in boxing for a reason.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, and in some of the divisions, there's only 4 or 5 pounds between the divisions. This is Terence Crawford coming up 3 weight divisions, coming up from 147 all the way up to 168, super middleweight, against a guy who's established at super middleweight, undisputed king, and his won titles at light heavyweight as well.
He's got a lot to prove, and he really
he's got a massive mountain.
What advice would you
and
give
he's the
to
older
Terence?
fighter, Crawford. He's 38, 39 years old. I know Canelo's got more miles on the clock, so over 65. But he's not a young man, Terence Crawford. So it's outstanding what he's doing. I don't like to say it, but he might be cashing out. They might be thinking big fight with Crawford.
John Ryder, who fought Canelo in the past, offered a more nuanced take, particularly for Crawford. Ryder acknowledged Crawford's impressive ability to win titles across multiple weight classes, praising his skill and versatility in the ring. However, Ryder highlighted the potential pitfalls of Crawford's leap to super middleweight, especially against someone like Canelo. Ryder, who has faced the Mexican before, advised Crawford to adopt a strategy similar to Dimitri Bivol's when he defeated Canelo, a combination of speed, mobility, and a focus on not getting drawn into a brawl. Yet Ryder also pointed out a key concern: Crawford's body may not yet be ready to absorb the full force of Canelo's punches.
You faced Canelo. If you could give some pointers to Crawford, what should he do to come out victorious in September?
I think you just got to watch the Bivol blueprint, the in and out. I mean, a lot of fighters getting stick now for being runners, Tom and Jerry and whatnot. Let's stick to what you're good at. Terence Crawford is an exceptional talent. His one titles through the weights, undisputed at, 3 weights now. And listen, if anyone can do it, it's him. I think the weight will be too much of an issue. Canelo is a special talent. And I think the weight will play a factor in the fight. But listen, Canelo once done it and made the step up to super middleweight. I would like Crawford to be more at light middle and middle to build into it, but you take these opportunities when they come, and that's what greatness is.
Chris Algieri took a slightly different approach to the matchup. Algieri believes that no matter the outcome, Crawford's legacy is already cemented. With his impeccable resume and status as a future Hall of Famer, Crawford is already an established figure in the sport. Algieri sees Crawford's decision to move up in weight as a bold attempt to solidify his greatness further, regardless of whether he wins or loses against Canelo. In his eyes, the challenge is a win-win situation for Crawford, as he's already accomplished so much in his career.
That's not going to be Crawford, and that's not going to be Canelo. They're going to be their peak of what they are at this point. Because again, Crawford is 38 years old. Canelo will be 35 by then. So I think they're going to be the peak for what they are at their ages. But it's easy to go, wow, what have you done for me lately? That's usually how everyone kind of sees everything. So, but I think it's good. I think it makes the fight more enticing if a lot of people are thinking that Crawford can win. And don't get me wrong, Crawford can absolutely win the fight. I'm not saying he can't win the fight. But in terms of, how I see it, it hasn't really changed my thoughts, because I know better than to just trust that last thing I saw, because there's a lot of confounding factors.
As the fight draws nearer, the boxing world is filled with a sense of anticipation. Crawford and Canelo are two of the best fighters in the world, and this showdown has all the ingredients to be one of the biggest events in boxing history. What makes this fight even more intriguing is the uncertainty surrounding how Crawford will handle the step up in weight. At 168 pounds, Canelo is a true monster, but Crawford is no slouch either. His ability to adapt and his skill set may very well be enough to overcome the size disadvantage. Both fighters are at the top of their game, and each of them has something to prove. Crawford, who has already conquered 2 weight divisions, is now looking to cement his place in history by becoming the first fighter to win undisputed championships in 3 different weight classes. Canelo, on the other hand, is aiming to defend his undisputed super middleweight title and continue his reign as one of boxing's most dominant forces.